The Flea and the Bear. A fearless flea jumped on the body of a bear taking a nap in the shade. Okay, now I can suck this bear's blood. The flea bit the back of the bear. Ouch! What's that? When the bear touched his back, the flea had already moved to another spot. The flea got more and more excited. This is a piece of cake. How stupid this bear is, he said. The flea moved boldly to the bear's stomach and bit down strongly. But this time, the bear caught the flea with his paw. Now I got you. Oh, please let me go. I know you are warm-hearted, so please spare me. Oh, really? It's too late for that. You have forgotten you're just a small, weak flea. The flea was crushed to death by the bear. The Hen and the Cat. A friendly hen lived in a town. One day, the hen was sick and couldn't lay eggs. Some friends of hers visited and comforted her. I heard you were ill, so I made some soup for you. Have some of this. Another said, Here is a bottle of honey. I hope you will get better soon. Oh, thank you for coming. An uninvited guest came to see her too. It was a naughty cat. I heard you were very sick. What can I do to help you? Do you have anything you want to eat? Don't be scared. Just tell me whatever you want. The hen answered, Thank you. But can I ask you a favor? I'd like you to get out of here right now. That's the only thing you can do for me. The Miser and the Gold. A miser lived in a town. He was always worrying about his wealth. One day, he hit upon an idea. I know. Let's exchange all the money I have for gold and bury it deep on the side of the mountain. He enjoyed looking at his gold in the ground once a day. His servant wondered why the miser always climbed up the mountain. So, he followed his master. The servant saw the place where the miser had buried the gold. After the miser went down the mountain, the servant dug in the ground and took the gold. What good luck! He ran away with the miser's gold. The next day, the miser went up the mountain to look at his gold and saw that it had been stolen. He dropped down on the ground. While he was crying, a mountain god appeared. The god said, Stop crying. You just used your gold to look at it. So, I guess that it was just like stones for you. Now, why don't you just find some stones and pretend they are gold? The Greedy Boy and the Peanuts. A greedy boy lived in a town. One day, the boy found a strange jar on the table in the kitchen. Oh, I've never seen this jar. He looked inside it. Wow, it's full of my favorite peanuts. Excited, he reached into the jar and grabbed a handful of nuts. But something unexpected happened. He couldn't pull his hand out of the jar. He shook his hand and the jar. After several tries, he gave up and started to cry. When his mother heard her son crying, she came running. What's wrong with you, honey? My hand is stuck in this jar. I can't pull it out. She smiled and said, If you let go of the peanuts, you can take your hand out. The Thief and the Dog. A faithful and smart dog lived in a town. One day, while the dog was watching the house closely, a thief broke in. The thief jumped over the wall and saw the dog. A bit surprised, the thief said to the dog, "Hey, look! I'll give you this meat. Please be gentle and don't bark." The thief threw a piece of meat to the dog. The dog took it with his mouth wide open and smiled. "Okay, good little dog. Please get out of the way." But the dog spit out the meat and said, "What a thing to say." The thief was shocked. The dog said, "You don't understand. It's natural for me to doubt strangers. Even though you gave me food, I'll never let you in. Just run away before I bite you." The Fox and the Crow. A fox went in search of food, but couldn't find any. He sighed and looked at the sky. "I am starving." Just then, the fox saw a crow about to have a meal. The crow was holding some meat in his mouth. The fox thought, "Aha! I'll take that meat." The fox approached the crow. "Hey, crow, you look good today." The crow couldn't say anything because his mouth was full. The fox kept talking. "Hey, you are pretty cute. And I'll bet you have a nice voice, too." The crow felt happy and excited, so he forgot the meat in his mouth and said, "Yes, sure I do," and dropped the meat. "Oh, good, I got it." The fox quickly snapped up the meat. "Thanks to your stupidity, I can have this meat." Equal shares. A lion, a bear, and a fox were good neighbors. One day, the three went hunting in a field. After a while, they had enough prey and decided to divide the food. The lion said to the bear, "You can divide this equally." So, the bear divided the meat equally into 3 parts. But the lion was mad at the bear. "Hey, you think these are equal?" The bear was confused. But the lion was so frightening that the bear couldn't say anything. The lion then asked the fox to divide the food. The fox divided it into 1 big pile and 2 small ones. The fox gave the lion the big pile. "This one is for you." The lion nodded with a smile. "Where did you learn this way of making equal shares?" "Oh, I just learned it from you and the bear." The Timid Lion. A boastful lion lived in a forest. The lion always enjoyed the sight of every animal being afraid of him. "I am the bravest and handsomest animal in the whole forest." One night, while he was sleeping, he felt thirsty. So, he decided to go to look for water. Suddenly, he heard strange noises. He heard the whistling, the wind, and the murmur of a stream, too. It was the first time for him to hear these kinds of sounds, and he felt scared. The Reed and the Oak Tree. A reed and an oak tree were close neighbors. It was a cloudy and windy day. The oak tree was strong enough to fight the wind, but the reed couldn't stand it. The oak tree said to the reed, "Why are you shaking so much?" "Because I'm weaker than you." The oak tree was proud of himself. "You're right. I am sure that I am much stronger than you." One day, a storm hit the forest. The oak tree tried to stand, but finally lost a part of its trunk. On the other hand, the reed just shook, but didn't break. After the storm was over, the oak tree asked the reed what his secret was. The reed said, "I am certainly weaker than you, but I just make way for the wind and storm." The Astronomer. A famous astronomer lived in a town. He usually went to the observatory to observe the stars. One day, he was on his way to the observatory and fell into a hole dug for construction. "Please help me," he cried out. Luckily, a passerby found him. "Please help me get out of here." "Oh, aren't you the famous astronomer?" The passerby recognized him. "How did you fall in there?" "I was on the way to the observatory and was looking up at the sky." "Well, sir, I think you need to look down as carefully as when you look up and observe the sky and the stars." The Fox Without a Tail. A careless fox lived in a forest. He got caught in a trap while trying to eat the meat in the trap. The fox was so troubled that he shook, but he managed to escape from the trap. Afterwards, he saw that his tail had been cut off. The other foxes teased him about it. "You don't have a tail, ha-ha." The fox felt bad. "Okay, it's true. I have no tail. And what if every other fox had no tail?" So, the fox decided to encourage the other foxes to cut off their tails. "Hey, everybody, look at me. I don't have a tail." There are a lot of advantages to not having a tail. The fox kept talking only about the good things of being without a tail. Finally, an old fox quietly said, "You are just saying good things about life without a tail because you already lost yours. If you had a tail again, do you think you would say that we should all cut off our tails?" The Mother and Baby Mole. A mother and baby mole lived in a cave. Unfortunately, the baby was born blind. One day, the baby said, "Mom, I can see. I can see." "Are you sure you can see?" "Yes, I can." The mother was very happy and surprised, but doubtful. So, she decided to test the baby. The mother showed the baby a piece of sulfur and asked, "Can you see what this is?" "It's a stone," the baby answered. The mother was upset and said, "Well, now you not only can't see, but you can't smell either." Two goats. A creek flowed through a forest. There was a bridge across the creek. Every animal needed to be careful when crossing the bridge. One day, a goat stood at each end of the bridge. Each goat thought the other should make way for him, but neither would give way to the other. "Oh, you didn't make room for me," Finally, they met halfway. You get out of my way. No, you get off. And they started to fight. After a while, they both fell into the deep water. In the water, they felt bad about their behavior and said, "Oh, I should have let you pass." But by then, it was too late for regret.